Welcome to another edition of My Horror Life. And today I am going to talk about horror movies and self-esteem. You're asking, what do they have in common? Well, for me, horror movies were my self-esteem. I'm going to take you back to 1980s. 1982, I think it was. I was 11 years old. And we used to have betas. If you remember betas, they were before VHS. And my family used to have a beta player. We used to have a store that rented betas. And they'd rent different movies all the time. And one of the movies they rented was Halloween. Now, 11 years old, I wasn't allowed to watch that. But we used to have a little blanket that separated the living room from the hallway to the bedrooms. And anytime they wanted to keep the air in or close us up from watching a movie, they'd put the blanket up. Well, I used to poke little holes in the blanket and would watch through the hole, keeping as quiet as possible, of course. And that's my discovery of horror movies, was Michael Myers. Fast forward to like mid-teens, late teens, I had a lot of self-esteem issues. I didn't like myself at all. I was very shy. I didn't have friends. My friends were horror movies. I started getting into renting movies. Yes, I was still underage to rent movies, but I told this story on another YouTube video that a guy that used to run a video store knew my passion for the movies and basically would rent to me and said, if your mom ever catches you with that, I'm going to tell her you stole it. They didn't have the fancy computers like now. You can say who rented what. It was like the old filing system. You rent and they put your name in the file that this person is renting this movie. So he could have just easily removed that. And anyways, I'm getting off topic. So I would rent these movies, and I would rent by basically how the cover looked. I didn't even care what the movie was. I rented by the covers. Remember the old covers to the old VHS? Yeah, those were terrific. Half of them had nothing to do with the movie. But I would rent these movies, and these were my friends. Because I told you already that I was very shy, and you're saying, you shy, Rob? Yeah, I was shy. I was very shy. I wouldn't talk to a soul, like even in my own household. That was the only people I communicate with. I'd go to school and I'd be the one sitting in the back of the room. I'd be the one who got picked last for the games when they used to make teams and choose players for the teams. I'd be like the last one that people would pick. Not because I was bad, because I was the one that nobody knew anything about. I was the quiet one. They say the quiet ones are the dangerous ones. Well, I wasn't dangerous, but I was maybe a more danger to myself. I didn't like anything about me, and that's why I didn't communicate with people. My friends were in my horror movies. Those are the same people that kept me alive. I'd watch these movies and say, one day I would love to be in one of these, or maybe meet one of these people. And growing up, that's the thing that I would always turn to when I was feeling bad about myself. I would turn to horror. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Friday the 13th, the original. I can't tell you. It has to be in the hundreds. It's like I almost knew who Alice was. And all these movies like were real to me. Yeah, I know they were movies, and I know that they're not like that on camera. I mean, off camera, they were like real people. But to me, they were real. I know a lot of you know what I'm going through, because I was looked at the odd kid for that too, because I would I would do my reports on some of these things on rock and roll, and because I was into hair bands, and I was looked at as a freak. I was looked at as an outcast, and that just pushed me further into nobody likes you, Rob. Well, you know who liked me? Just those movies. I know it sounds weird, but when I needed comfort, when I needed something to take my mind off of why I didn't like myself, those movies saved me. Those movies would distract me. And last year when I went to go see Rock and Shock convention, if anybody watched the video I did at Rock and Shock, I cried. You know why I cried? I'm going to cry again right here. I cried because here I am, meeting the people I grew up with. Meeting the people who saved me. Adrienne King. When I met her, it was so surreal. As everybody knows, I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. I love all horror, but Friday the 13th is my franchise. When I met Adrienne, I relived those days of being a kid and fighting with who I was. And Alice Hardy, how much of a survivor she was, kept me surviving. This is me right now. When I met Felicia Rose, same thing. Sleepaway Camp. Oh my God, I was infatuated with Sleepaway Camp. Still am. You know why I still am? Because those were my best friends. Those people. I did have a few friends on the outside, but these are friends I could always rely on because all I had to do was pop in the video. There was no, oh, I can't hang out today, Rob. There was no, oh, maybe tomorrow, Rob. The movies were always there. If anybody hasn't watched the video, ask me. The Rock and Shock video. I break down a couple times because Kane Hodder. I met Kane fucking Hodder. I met Bill Moseley, who is my horror god. All I'm missing from my room is an exit sign, so I can go EXIT. Exit. It's, to some people, watching a movie is just watching a movie. And I guess basically that's how it should be. But when you don't have anybody in your life, the movies become that friend that you need. And now I'm honored to actually have hundreds of actors and actresses and directors as friends. And now, look at me, I'm actually part of some of these indie horror films. I'm part of Social Distance. I'm part of Parallels. I'm part of Z Dead End. Bloody Summer Camp. I got more coming too, but to be involved with some of the people, like Felicia Rose is part of Z Dead End. I'm on a project with someone that I grew up worshiping. Someone who I still look up to. So when you started watching the video, you said horror and self-esteem. They do go together. Because now with horror movies, back then you had to put it into your VHS player, or then it was DVD player. Now you just have to hit a button, like Netflix or Hulu or whatever you have. The wonderful world of horror. These aren't just people who are just actors and they don't care. They care. You know, they interact with me. They save me. And by doing these videos, I hope to save somebody else. Someone that knows how it feels to be like an outcast. Someone that may be shy like I used to be. Someone that doesn't think they're good enough like I used to do. You are good enough. And some of the pictures in the background, those are some of my autographs. Up top is Terry McMinn, who played Pam from Texas Chainsaw 1. You know, that iconic scene where she falls and she realizes she's in this crazy house with all these feathers and chainsaw fingers and bones. Yeah, that's her. I talked to her. Terrific woman. So you see, everything's come full circle for me. And it'll come full circle for you too. Yes, you. Like I said, I started out as this lonely, shy kid that never interacted. And now look at me. 3,600 friends on Facebook. A YouTube channel that I talk to people every day. Or I try to do every day. And like I said, if I just help one person by these videos, it's worth it. This is who I am. I'm a lot stronger person than I used to be now. I'm not shy. I'm very vocal. And I stick up for what's right. So, I want you to take one thing out of this. If you're lonely and you need a friend, I want you to go into your video collection. Put on whatever it is you want. Whether it's Chucky, whether it's Jason, Michael, Freddy, Leatherface, Pinhead, anybody. I want you to go in there, put it in, and watch. And I guarantee most of those movies were like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. For those hour and 20 minutes, I bet you all your problems go away. Are they still going to be there later? Yeah. But your mind will be more at ease to deal with it. Guarantee it. Much love, everybody. Oh, one more thing. Watch out for the boogeyman. 6 times! I shot him 6 times!